That's your marker. You have to manage that relationship and keep that clean. And then it's just a matter of getting out of the way and missing each other. It's that simple, guys, okay? So emulate that positioning. You guys, you see what's happening here. Hands in front, elbows behind. Face forward again, shin. Hands are at the center of our body. So now the motion to rotate the rope is it's literally like you're shaking water off your hands. You literally, go and drop your hand on the ground, yeah. And kind of get in that position and then shake water off your hands. If you've ever had wet hands, you know, no towel to dry them off, you're like, oh, I got to shake the water off. You shake them downward, right? You're trying to snap that water, flick it down towards your toes, and you're using your elbows. So I really want coaches out there to key in on this. Coaches always say, don't use your elbows to turn the rope, right? Don't use your elbows. So what they mean is don't rotate from the elbow, which is correct, but they're not giving the right correction. They're saying, don't use your elbows to turn. No, you do use your elbows. You just don't use them this way, right? We call this rolling down the windows, yeah, or flapping. So you don't rotate from the elbow. You rotate from the wrist, but your elbow drives the momentum. Your elbow creates that momentum so that your wrist then guide, right? So elbows drive by snapping. Your wrist guide the rope. That makes sense? So give them a profile and then shake water up your hand. Now shake your hands kind of in a circular motion as if you're guiding the rope in a circle. So if you'll see, there's a lot of motion in the elbow, right? It's that nice little soft snapping of your elbow. Think of it as throwing darts or casting a fishing rod. You have to use your elbow to throw a ball, right? We need our elbows to turn a jump rope. We see a lot of people that don't. We see a lot of people that lock out their elbows, lock them out, hold the handles up to the side, and they're very rigid, and they're trying to turn the rope. Guess what? You're using all shoulders. Using all shoulders, and when you do that, you go, wow, why are my shoulders frying out during double under workouts? So what do? You try and put a Band-Aid on it by getting a lighter jump rope. Okay, those are people that always want to go get a light speed rope to try and accommodate their poor technique. Okay, and you're cheating yourself big time. Your everyday go-to rope should be slightly heavier. Should be a baseline rope. And I compare it to Fran, right? Fran, 95 pounds for guys, 65 for women. That would kind of be your standard weight. And then if you want to do a fast Fran and try and go unbroken, maybe you drop the guy's weight down to 75. You want to do a heavy Fran, you bump up to 135. Well, if you're always training Fran at 75 pounds all the time, that's what you're doing with a speed rope. Now when you got to do 95-pound Fran, that's going to feel heavy. When you got to do heavy Fran at 135, you're screwed. That makes sense? Jump rope's the same way. It's a training tool. Okay, it's to build fitness, build stamina. So don't keep yourself at the light end of that. That's simply a skill to practice. So I'll get off that soapbox. You do use your elbows. Okay, you do use them. You got to use them properly. You got to relax your elbows. When your elbows are relaxed and your wrists are relaxed, we know you're not using your shoulders. You're saving those shoulders so that you can, do a huge snatch or squat clean or whatever it is. You're using your shoulders for the harder movements, okay, lifting the big loads. So, got that. We got our rope size. Hopefully you guys understand that. We've got our spacing. We want that rope to contact the ground about 10 inches in front of your toes. You control that. You have to adjust and manipulate until you hear the rope skimming the ground. You know where your hands are supposed to be now. So actually go ahead and pick up your rope and feet forward again. Now, the only time your hands get to go wide is to get the rope in motion. So that's when your rope is your hands are going to kick wide to send the rope backwards and bring it over your head to do a toe catch. So what Shannon's going to do a drill called a toe catch. Nope, she did a single under. So do a toe catch, it's okay. Everybody likes to jump, getting out of the way of the rope. Good, reset, just keep doing that. We're going to talk about it, just do it slowly. Slowly and set. So if you watch, she's going to get set up. Rope is, what's up there? Rope is against her body. That's number one. Always start with the rope up off the ground against your legs or against your Achilles. That way you know it's not stuck under your shoe. Okay, so pick it up, get it against your body. From there, she's going to kick her hands wide and send the rope backwards. Go ahead. Then, as the rope comes overhead, her hand should drop in narrow, closer to her body, right? So go wide to narrow. Wide, narrow. Boom. Good. Do that again. Go wide, narrow. So you guys got to pay attention to that. Wide to narrow. So getting the jumping position. Now, hold your hands. in order to keep track of your hand, use your peripheral vision, right? So if Shenley is looking either straight at the camera, she's not going to be able to see her hand. So if she brings her eyes down to 45 degrees, about 6 feet in front of her, 6 to 8 feet in front of her, she could use her peripheral vision to spot her hands, okay? So the movement of her hands will tell her where they're at in relation to her body. You just want to see a little bit of movement. See her hands? Good. If her hands are too far forward, now she can see almost her elbow, too far forward. Okay, you don't want to see that much of your forearms. You barely want to see your thumb knuckles, okay? If you don't see your hands at all, they're behind you, that's the wrong spot, okay? Or if your hands are too wide, you can see them, but you'll be able to tell that they're too far away from your body. You shouldn't have this big gap beside you. A couple inches, 2 to 3 inches is fine. However your arms naturally hang down, that's where they should be when you're turning a rope. Slightly wider, that's okay too. Okay, so hands go wide to start. They've got to come in narrow. Use your peripheral vision to find them and track where your hands are. Videotape yourselves over and over and over from the front and from the profile and emulate good positioning, right? I'm going to fill you in. So Shenley is not a CrossFitter. And she just got her double unders, maybe a couple of weeks ago. We've only done a few sessions together. She's actually a trained ballerina, a prima ballerina, right? 12 plus years. So she has amazing body awareness, right? And so when I give her a correction, she usually makes that correction really quickly, which is super cool. So that's why I wanted Shenley to demo, because she'll make mistakes, which we all do. And when I give her the correction, she'll usually make that correction right away. So that's the cool thing. But what does every ballet studio have in it, Shenley? What's in the studio? What's on the walls? And what? Mirror. Every ballet studio has mirrors, and they're trained to watch themselves, because the disconnect between what you're really doing and what you feel like you're doing are often worlds apart, okay? You'll feel like you're making a correction, and when you watch it back, you're like, holy moly, that wasn't even close, okay? So you have to get those two to jive, and you have to see feedback, okay? So get in front of a mirror, get in front of a reflection in a window, set your iPhone or iPad up. Cannot stress enough how much that'll help you start to hone in your positioning, right? Awesome. So toe catch drill. We love that drill. She's literally just practicing getting the rope under tension, moving around her body, and then stopping right at her toes. Can we do this again? Yep, perfect. How about do a profile? Let's do one sideways. Watch how she sends the rope backwards first, then brings it over. She's trying to get her arc started right away. She wants her arc to go back here and nice and round, versus shown the wrong way, where you kind of drag the rope up your backside. Just kind of bring your hands up. Yeah, you see that? We see a lot of people do that, believe it or not. Do that again. Yeah, it's actually kind of comical, but believe it or not, people start this way. They just drag the rope up their backside and try and flick it out there. And the problem is the rope doesn't get under tension, so you can't get set and get your timing right and get the rope nice and open to hop through, right? It sounds like common sense, but watch. You're going to keep your hands wide, pull it over, boom. That's it. That's a toe catch. So then a great thing to do is an add-on drill. Now she's going to do 1 single under toe catch, 2 single unders toe catch, 3 single unders. So here we go. 1 and catch. And now 2 in a row. And catch. Good. Keep going. We're going to go up to 10. We do this up to 10 as a check-in. And what I'm looking for is that her positioning stays intact. I'm looking at her elbows. I'm looking at her wrists. Stay there. Go back to something. Stay there. So I'm looking to see that her hands are staying pretty much in this positioning as she's rotating the rope. Then I'm looking to see where the rope contacting the ground, and if it's too far in front of her, is she adjusting? Is she pulling her hands up and letting the rope hit the right spot so that it just barely grazes the ground? So you guys watch the same thing. On to 3, 4, good. Keep going. Nice. If you're not catching the rope under your toes, you have to change the elevation of your hands. You got to figure out where your hands need to be so the rope can just glide between the ground and your toes. You barely have to lift your toes up. Perfect. You can stop there. So, guys, that's the consistency we need to see in your single unders. And the other thing I want you to notice is her single unders were low, and her hand, her hand did not have a lot of up and down movement, right? You didn't see this forearm jumping up and down, real erratic. It was staying very isolated while her wrist rotated, let the handle rotate. That's really key to keep the contact point of the rope in front of your toes consistent, okay? The more erratic you are with your arms, you're gonna either ricochet the rope off the ground and it bounces up at you, or you're gonna pull it into your toes. So you have to keep that position really set. Her single unders were low. That's part of the key. She was not doing high, floaty single unders. And we see a lot of coaches teach it this way, trying to get an athlete prepped to do a double under by getting up in the air. I don't personally like that approach because it teaches the wrong hand motion. That's the harder thing for people to figure out, right? So your bound height should dictate the speed of the rope. Bound height should dictate the speed of the rope. If you bound high for a single under, you have to do a slow single under, and you usually have to do a bigger radius with your hand to slow that rope down. Can you demonstrate the bad ones? Like high single with a looping arm, right? Just to keep the rope slow. Not that exaggerated. Keep going. Now look at her handle. You see her handle is traveling down to her thighs, almost up to her shoulders. Keep going. You see that? And look how her body is all bent up. Look at all her knees are bending a lot, her hips are flexing a lot, ankles are bent a lot. This is what we see a lot of people do, trying to get ready. And then when they want to go for a double under, they then try and speed up the rope and then change everything. They do completely opposite of what they should be doing, right? So do 5 at a time, huh? Doing inefficient single unders like that is super tiring, right? And you're getting nowhere. So here's what we're gonna do. I want you to do 5 of those bad single unders. That was perfect demonstration. Right into 10 good single unders, like we did earlier. That's happening. Good. Loopy. So look at what's happening. Look at the travel of the hand. Go back to the bad one. You guys see the difference? Go back to the good one. See how straight her body is? Body's very upright, very efficient. She's now using her body like a pogo stick. You can, yeah, thank you. She's using her body as a pogo stick, right? Very, very minimal knee flex, just so that she can get a little bit more quad recruitment, right? And use the stretch reflex from your calves and Achilles, just to get that nice quick little pop off the ground. That is key. You've got to practice your single unders that way. So we always say, do your single unders in the basement, do your double unders in the penthouse. Single unders, penthouse. We're going to show you a drill that we like to do with using tape that you just put on the wall or put on an upright or in your garage. It's a real good little drill. But here's the key. If you have low single unders, we know that that's going to require the rope to speed up and be a little quicker. Okay, and you're getting the rope on pace to do an easy double under. As soon as you explode and give the rope more time, then the rope is already on pace for you. The cool thing is that your hand motion doesn't change a lot. You don't have a drastic change in what's happening with your hands. Most people are going to speed up a little bit. We're trying to get you to not prioritize speeding up the rope. We want you to prioritize giving the rope more time and learn it slowly. So then you'll have effective double unders, right? And that's going to set you up for triple unders beyond what you can even imagine. Like, that'll set you up. When we coach triple unders, we say the opposite of what we hear most coaches say. You got to spin that rope faster, spin the rope faster. Yes, sometimes people do have to spin the rope faster, but we start them off by saying, slow down. How do you slow down? Go higher. Give the rope more time. You'll have more control, okay? Get more time in the air. Rope doesn't have to go crazy fast. That's the reason people have a hard time connecting triple unders and double unders for that matter, is because they get the rope going so fast, they give themselves very little time to get on off the ground and miss the rope, right? You got to give the rope time. You hit the ground, you're stopping and reversing direction. The rope is still in motion, and if it's moving fast, it's going to catch you. The rope is always faster than your body. So you let your bound height dictate how fast that rope is supposed to go and give it that input, okay? Hopefully that makes good sense for you. We're just trying to shotgun through these base performance cues so that you guys, can emulate the right movement. That's really key. And just understand, we want to understand the right equipment to start off with and the positioning and what it should look like. Now we're going to get into talking about singles and doubles. Singles low and quick, always. Let me clarify this. prepping you for double unders. You can do slow, loopy single unders. You can do boxer style. You can do crisscrosses, side swings. Okay, understand that we get that. You can do single unders slower for other reasons. We're prepping you for doubles, efficient doubles and triples. This is the best way to go about it. Practice your single unders lower and quicker, then simply give yourself more time in the air for a double. The rope is already on pace. You don't have to worry about ramping up the speed. And the ironic thing is a low, quick single and whatever rope speed you're at will feel like a slow double under. If you try not to speed up the rope, it'll feel like a slow double under. That's the cool thing. So we want you to learn it that way. Then we know that you'll be able to then adjust your speed accordingly. If you want to do fast double unders, awesome. Bring your bound down and speed up the rope, okay? And we recommend you do that. You should practice. Once you have double under, you should practice every variation of double under you can. Slow, fast, long duration, short duration, right? Every type of intensity or modality you can bring into the movement, explore it and practice it, okay? It's really, really awesome, right? You get so much good benefit out of that, right? Neurologically, I almost tripped on that. Neurologically, as well as just the fitness side, okay? So, low quick singles, high, slow doubles, same hand motion. That's the really cool thing, okay? So let's talk about the bounding and what you guys need to focus on. Let's go ahead and take the rope down. When we get ready to go into double unders, when we get ready to go into double unders, I can't stress enough, get tall, right? I keep trying to think of analogies, what's gonna get people to understand these concepts, but get tall. You know, they say if a dog comes up barking at you on the street, you know, you're supposed to don't shy away and hunch down, because then they're going to sense your fear and they're going to come after you. But otherwise, the opposite is get big, right? Get big and show them you're tough, and it'll scare the dog off. Well, we want you to scare your double unders off. We don't want your double unders to scare you. So you've got to get big. You've got to get tall. When you get your body longer and taller, then you're using your body more efficiently and using more of that rebound and the plyometric, the stretch reflex to get off the ground. And that was a good demonstration from those bad, slow singles to the quick, straight singles, right? So what I like to have Shannon do, is I'm gonna have Shannon get up on the balls of her feet, go up, go tall, feet together. So I want her heels touching together so they support each other. And I want her to stay tall, and she's really elongated, right? So I want you to think in terms of getting this tall. Now, she's really high up on her toes, but she does point in ballet. Not everyone's gonna get that high. But my point is that when she starts doing her double under, I want her to think of making her head stay tall off the ground. Of course, when she rebounds, her knees are gonna flex a little bit, bend a little, and let the feet come down a little. She's gonna flex, her body's going to coil up a little, but she's trying to keep it under tension and keep it tall, because that's going to make her rebound quicker. She's got to get off the ground fast before the rope gets there, right? So you just think in terms of being tall. Push against my hand. Think of making your body tall, always. On the ground and in the air, be tall. Okay, and then it's just a matter of keeping your hands in place. As long as you're leaving the rope down, so the rope is making ground contact, and you're tall and stretched in the air, you're gonna miss each other. That's a no-brainer. You hear the rope tap, 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 grazing the ground, and you've launched yourself as high as you can go, you're gonna miss each other, right? Common sense, guys. So think in terms of being tall. So when I'm doing a double under workout, and I'm pretty average, you're way better jumpers than me, but when I'm in a double under workout and I feel myself getting tired, getting fatigued, I try and get taller. I try and get up on the balls of my feet, elevate my heels, right? And get taller, because I know that that's going to allow me to be more efficient about getting off the ground. Okay? I can't let myself start to get all bent up in my torso and hips and joints. Because then I'm going to work harder to get off the ground. So you can't go too tall. Let's cover this topic real quick, because we ask it in all of our workshops. Can you do a double under? Is there such thing as doing too high of a double under? What do you think, Nick? No. Yeah. There's no such thing as doing too high of a double under. It's just a skill. It depends on how you want to utilize it. For purposes of learning, doing a high double under is fantastic because everything else slows down. It's like if you were Neil Armstrong on the moon doing double unders. Everything slows down for you because you're spending more time in the air, right? And then you can start sensing and feeling and improving your awareness. Then once you know how to do that, it's easy to bring your bound lower and speed it up to Earth's gravity, right? You know, so you cannot go too high to learn double under. So a lot of times in our workshops, people they think they're bounding high. You know, we say, hey, what's your double under bound look like? And they'll show us. We're like, okay, what does a triple under bound look like? And they'll bound even higher. We're like, no, that's your double under. Do that, right? That high bound. You can't get too high off the ground. Okay, so low quick singles, high floaty doubles. Okay, and so yeah, hopefully. Are there any questions? I mean, we're just kind of rambling through this stuff. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there was one question. Can you demonstrate the difference between a slow double under and a fast regular double under?
Fast regular.
Would you just kind of cover?
Kind of cover. Well, let's clarify that. I'm glad you asked that. There's I mean, when you say a regular double under, guess what? It's different for everybody, right? You're bounding, your comfortable bounding tempo is based on what your body can do or likes to do, right? I know that I'm a slow bounder. I'm a chugger, man. Like my tempo is very metronome, da-da-dum, 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 right? Whereas, you know, if you've ever, I don't know if you guys know who Annie Sakamoto is, probably only one of the most, you know, famous CrossFitters in the world and the most amazing human beings. But I've been fortunate to do, in fact, I did 20.2 this year. I did 20.2 up at her gym with her. Annie Sakamoto is all of 5 foot tall little dynamo and has some super fast double unders, right? She just very precise, and that's the way her body likes to move. That's the tempo that her body likes. Very quick, right? You can hear it, right? So, and I'm not that way, but it's fun to train yourself, right? To practice other tempos. So in that workout, I'm like, all right, I already know that she's way quicker than me at double unders, but I'm going to try and keep up with her and try to do quick tempo double unders where you're just barely getting off the ground. Rope has to speed up for the time you're giving it. And of course I tripped, you know, out of my comfort zone, working at a way faster pace. I tripped and she went unbroken and beat me by 5 or 6 rounds on that workout. So anyway, that's okay. But yeah, there is no such thing as a fast regular double under. It's depending on who you are. If you guys, a lot of the athletes here in Invictus, and you watch them, like Lauren and Ras, I like watching them. They have different speeds of double unders, you know, Eric Harmony, those guys, you got to figure out what your tempo is. But I will have Shen demo some double unders so you can see, because I'm trying to train her to do slow elevated double unders, okay, so that she can have more consistency. So let's talk about some drills you can do to work on your bounding. Let's see, I'm gonna move those tape lines. You know, maybe I won't. I'm not gonna. So I don't want to move the camera because to get it lined up right was hard. But one thing we did was we take any kind of tape and find a wall in your house and basically, you know, put a tape line that's, you know, above your eyebrows, you know, between your eyebrows and the top of your head, right? Somewhere in the middle, put a tape line there, okay? And that tape line, you're gonna practice doing single underbounds where you stay below that tape line. And then I like to do this. I measured my Hawaiian shaka, and my shaka is 8 to 9 inches, okay? And I like to go 8 inches above people's head and put another tape line, right? And then basically for your double unders, I want your double unders to get your eyes up to that tape level, right? So single unders are in the basement below the bottom tape, double unders fly up above the line. So you can do a couple. If you don't have tape, just you could look at a door jamb, get back away from a door jamb. And I'm saying you could practice this without a jump rope also, just bounding. Don't even bring a rope into the picture. And you know, use the door jamb, the top of the door jamb as your marker. Stay below the door jamb for singles, get above the door jamb for doubles. So here's what I'll have Shelly do. Just go to stand there. I'm gonna hold this basically just above her eyebrows. I don't know what that looks like to you guys. So Shelly, give me 10 single unders where you're below the line. Go ahead. She's trying to keep her eyes below the line. Just get her feet off the ground. See, she's barely traveling, okay? So now give me 10 double unders where you're climbing way above, okay? Now she's getting her head way above that line, right? See the difference? Go back to 10 low singles in the basement. We're gonna keep going. 10 low singles below the basement. Doubles, up, 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 up. There we go. Yeah, that's all we're looking for. You get those two going, guess what? Your rope speed can stay relatively the same. It will speed up a little for single or for doubles. I get that because people don't want to fail, okay? That's my other big disclaimer that I forgot to mention. You have to fail. When you're trying to make corrections and make changes, you've got to forget about finishing the rep or finishing the double under and focus on whatever that skill component you're trying to improve, which means there's going to be a lot of failed double unders, but there's a lot of wins in there if you corrected the thing that you're supposed to correct. So, in working with Shenley, she literally, we probably spent we did 3 or more, 4 sessions together. Yeah, right at 4 sessions, no double unders at all, right? Never did them before. She still goofs up once in a while because she's still trying to get all of that rhythm and timing and all those things to feel natural. So when she fails, the biggest cue I usually give her is get up in the air, give the rope more time, and it'll take care of a lot of the other problems, okay? And then if there are other crazy problems, then we'll address those. But get in the air first to give yourself the opportunity, and you'll usually find success. Then we can smooth out the other problems you're having. So, Jen, let's go and grab our rope. So that tape drill, right? Low one above the eyebrows, below the top of your head. Second one, let's go 8 inches above your head. And guess what? I really urge coaches when they're scaling for their members for double unders, if somebody has really good single unders already, and you have them doing twice the amount of single unders, for one double under, or even 3 times, which I don't agree with, 2 to 1 is a perfect ratio. It's the same amount of work, it's the same amount of revolutions on the body. So I'm really a big advocate. You got to scale, and people are still trying to improve their single unders, then a 2 to 1 ratio is all you need. If somebody has really good single unders and you're pretty comfortable that their positioning and everything is intact, and they're ready to start working on a big explosion, do the tape drill. Make them bound to a tape line, or give them a target for their head to touch, a soft target or something. And if it's 50 double unders per round in a workout, have them do 50 bound and just hit their head or get above the tape line, whatever the marker is. And guess what? It's the same amount of work. You're doing the same amount of effort, but you are prepping yourselves, to learn a good double under, right? So you don't always have to scale. I know some people do bounding over a dumbbell or things like that. Those are great ideas. Just, don't bound over anything that you could land on and roll an ankle. That's my biggest fear, okay?
Another question, Dave, is how do you seem to break the habit going breaking your doubles, single, double, single, double, single?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the next question they read was somebody, they go single, double, single, double, single, double, single, double, right? And they get stuck in that pattern. And that's a hard one to get out of. You can get out of it for sure, but you got to know how to do it. And we'll talk about that. But a lot of it has to do with, I'll actually practice with Shenley, but as soon as you can do one double, like a single, double, if you can do that 10 times without stopping, single, double, single, double, single, double, great. You can do that 10 times without stopping. You're done with those. Immediately, you need to go single, double, double. You got to start adding on double unders right away and get the body used to exploding rep after rep. Because you get used to explode, die, right? You kind of kill your bound. Explode, die. So you got to get explode, right? And it's just forcing somebody into it. So what I do when I'm coaching somebody through it is, I'll say, okay, you're ready for single and 2 doubles. And they'll usually go single, double, and then they'll go back to single again. They don't get up in the air. So I'll take the rope out of their hands and I'll have them practice it without the rope. So let's do it without the rope. So since we're on, I'll put my hand, give them a marker over their head. I'll say, okay, 1 single, 2 doubles. Okay, 1 single, 2 doubles. Boom, boom, stop. And make them stop. And I'll say it again, single, 2 doubles. single, up, stop, right? And then I'll say, okay, pick up the rope, and I'll just say, do exactly the same thing. Don't even think about it. Single, double, double. And if they're tripping on the second double, I'll tell them, I don't care if you trip, get up in the air twice. If the rope catches even on your first double under, if you trip up on the first double under, bound twice as high as you can anyway, even with the rope tangled up on your feet. Just keep bounding. You got to ingrain the tempo is all it is. And then I would say, okay, let's see what that looks like. Single and two doubles. And stop, right? And if she tripped up, I would take the rope. If she tripped up because she didn't get up in the air again, I would take the rope out of her hand, do the drill again, and you just repeat that like a robot. You repeat it until you get used to, like, okay, I gotta explode one after another. The other thing I'll tell people, I'll tell her now, make your second double under higher than your first one. Because a lot of people will make the first one and then, you know, or they'll, even if they're like making 5 in a row, their double unders tend to get lower because they get all excited, like, oh my gosh, I'm making it, and they forget to get off the ground. So make your second one higher than your first, third one higher than your second. Like try and make your double unders get higher and higher, right? So make your second double under higher than your first one. Do the same thing. Whoa, see the second one? She really floated, and the rope was too fast. She had to try and kill it. If you could hear what I heard, you know, she had all this time in the air. She's like, whoa, my rope is cooking too fast, right? Because her rope speed was based on the lower double under, and then she launched, right? A lot of people fail double unders, I see, even when they get up in the air, rope's too fast. They don't realize that. A lot of times I have to coach people, hey, slow down. Just slow your rope down and you'll make it, right? Yeah, it's funny. So it's just a matter of having that awareness, okay? So so let's talk about this drill. How are we doing on time? 15 minutes?
You want to open it up for questions? You want to do the drill or you want to do it?
Oh, let's get some questions before we get into any more things. Yeah.
You guys, if you have questions, go ahead, type it in the Q&A, and we'll try to address them as we go. And if you want to type in your questions now, and then you go to the drill and start addressing the questions towards the end, like 5 minutes left.
Perfect. Yeah. Let's get those questions in. So we want you guys to understand this. Guys, it's, you know, listen, it's a slow process. And here's the thing, if you've already been struggling with these, you have ingrained habits, and it's going to take a little more work to get out of those habits. If you have a little bit of success, like, oh, you know, I can do usually 10 double unders in a row. Sometimes you have to regress a little bit. You got to go backwards to fix your positioning or fix your rope length or fix your tempo and timing. What's one? Yeah, question.
So one question says, he usually fails his double unders in front of him. Can you give an idea of what he's doing wrong? I think that's how you always fail.
Fails it in front of him. Can you give a little bit more specific? I don't know what he means by fails it in front of him.
Tom, can you ask him? Tom, can you give a little more detail on that?
Yeah. Yeah, Tom, I'm not sure what you mean that you failed in front of you. I'm not, you know, the rope getting caught in the front of your toes, or I'm not sure what you're experiencing there to give
you. Clipping his toe. I land on top of the rope in his forefoot.
Yeah. So a lot of times, that's a great question. We have 2 things we can answer about that. A lot of times people land on the rope because their timing was off, right? So let's talk about timing real quick. Timing is important. So we're going to go profile. I want you to look at Shenley, and I want you to imagine if Shenley were standing inside of a wheel or inside of a big pizza pie on its side. There's 4 quadrants to the pizza pie, right? Quadrant 1 is right here, right? And the rope goes back, quadrant 1. Quadrant 2 is here. Okay, that's 1 pizza pie. Quadrant 3 is there. That's 1 pizza pie. Quadrant 4 down there, right? So the big thing that you have to understand is for timing is you have to wait until the rope gets into quadrant 4 before you leave the ground. And a lot of people might take off most times when the rope's up in quadrant 3. Okay, and so you just mistimed the rope is all you did, and you didn't, even if you jumped high, you didn't use all of your time in the air effectively because you jumped when the rope was still up here, when you could have waited for the rope to get down there, then jump, and then you only need the rope to make 1 more rotation around you, okay? So that's a big thing for people to understand and get in their head is that a double under, when you start off the ground, a double under is really, half the work is done when you're still on the ground. right? Like if I have Shenley just jump right into a double under, this is another drill we do, it's just a double off the deck. So from here, she's gonna start the rope, get it around her, and she's gonna get ready to jump when it's in 3, but she's gonna wait till it gets into 4 before she actually launches, right? Let's see how she does. Good, do it again. Jump higher, slow the rope down. That's okay, good. You started, you just took off a little bit early. All right, looking good, here we go. Good, do it again. So this, I'll do this all day with somebody. Now we're getting it, so right? He's starting to get comfortable waiting for the rope. He's waiting for the rope to drop down before she launches. And you start getting better at this timing. Now here, keep going. Here's what I want you to notice. Look how slow her rope is starting on that first rotation. It's so chill. It's like she's starting a single under. She's just getting, like when we did that toe catch drill, she's just getting the rope under tension so that it's in shape and just getting it moving around her body. I don't know if you can hear that. That's what I listen to the rope a lot. And when I hear a really light swoosh instead of a, right, a real fast, you know, I like to hear a, right, like a soft summer breeze. And she's starting to get that. And as you do this drill, okay, yeah, you get the timing down to get out of the way. Good. Now, where a lot of people go wrong on this drill is, that's okay. So here's where people go wrong on this drill. If you do it over and over and over and you keep failing, here's what people do. They'll get the rope in motion. So they'll get the rope going around, right? It's coming. They wait for the rope to get down here into the 4th quadrant, right? And then when it's down here, they'll then try and bend, like load and jump all at the same time, right? Real fast. And guess what? You don't jump as high. When you try and jump real fast, it's very abbreviated and you don't get as high off the ground. So what you have to do is when the rope is up, you're going down. So when the rope's above you is when you're loading, it's a nice deep load for a jump. And then you're waiting, you're just waiting. And then when you get down here, now she'll start to jump out of the way of the rope, right? So it's kind of a 2-part movement. Rope's up, you go down and wait. You're watching as the rope's going down, you're now jumping. You're going opposite direction of the rope. So that's probably why you're landing on the rope. One quick thing, if you're clipping the rope on your shoe, it's usually erratic hand movement, a bunch of crazy erratic hand movement. But here's the other reason. That's why you got to videotape yourself. Kind of move forward. You got to watch yourself. A lot of people have different imbalances. A big one is hands are tilted. One hand's lower than the other. Okay? And when one hand is lower than the other, no idea why. That's just where your body feels comfortable. Again, the disconnect is feeling real. So if you have one hand lower than the other, your low hand is usually your catch side. That's the side where the rope allows you right closer to the feet. So she'll have all kind of space out there, but it's real tight down here. So you got to videotape yourself. Low hand is your catch side. The other thing it could be is sometimes we'll have one hand that's farther away from the body. You push with a big gap over here, and this one's kind of normal, right? So whenever you have this, you're pulling the rope over, so then the other side is your catch side, right? The in close side is your catch side, because you pull the rope all the way over here, and now you're hitting on that side, right? So you have to look at your balance, look at your spacing, and see if you have any imbalances. That videotape yourself. You'll find out right away. I have a wicked when I jump. Here's where I feel sorry, Sean, taking the spotlight. This is me when I jump. I'm so off balance, right? This is what's very natural for me. I don't know why. It's just where my body likes to go. But I know that this is going to lead to massive tripping, so I have to force myself to get here. And guess what? When I get here, it actually feels like I'm here, right? The exaggeration of what's real. I'm like, oh my God, that feels so wacko. And then if I videotape myself, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm barely level. But that's my new reality. My reality is I've got to kind of make myself feel uncomfortable. And then I know in my mind, okay, I've now created good spacing for the rope to pass by me. So you really need to check that out and see.
So let's see if because we got about 10 questions.
Okay.
So let's see if we can keep them in like 2-minute answers so we get everybody in.
Perfect.
This one says, what do you think about the penguin clap drill, where you jump high and clap twice on the side? Why are they harder? Does that help?
Yeah. No, yeah, penguin tap is awesome. I know exactly what that drill is. Penguin tap is awesome because now it's getting you to do, two things like, patting your head and rubbing your belly, two things at one time. Love the penguin tap. Make sure you do the penguin tap at the height of the jump. We want you to separate the bound and the explosion and then the rotation separately, right? Make that delayed. It's not how it really happens in real life, like when you're doing a double under, but to drill it, the best way to do it. Bound first, and at the height of your jump, tap your thighs twice. I like to make that's too easy, so you can go buy some Tic Tac bottles. Okay, we actually sell, I'm not trying to make a sales pitch, we sell a little shaker bottle that's intended for that. But you can go buy some Tic Tacs and empty half of them out and have 2 Tic Tac bottles. Use those and now you can stand with good positioning with your hands turned, pronated out this way, rotated out, and then now you can make the little Tic Tacs, shake, 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 while you're in the air. So you got to separate those, right? So I love that drill. The other thing you do, go to Home Depot, buy a couple of thin dowel sticks, right? And then hold the end and jump up and try and tap your toes. While you're in the air, tap your toes twice and try and do a drill. That's a great drill. I love that one. Next question.
Is doing speed steps instead of doing single unders helping for the double unders?
I love speed steps, and I think it definitely improves your agility, improves your coordination. I don't think it's a direct correlation. We do include alternating step drills in some of the things we do, just so that you're becoming more well-rounded, but definitely keep practicing those for sure. But I don't think it's a direct correlation to getting the explosion. Understand that single unders and double unders are different movements. I view those as 2 different skills that look exactly the same. Just one's lower and the other one's higher, right? And obviously the other one has another revolution. But for me, it's a different athletic movement because of the explosion and the tempo and timing of it's different. And I argue that because people have been doing single unders and can do those for years and still can't do a double under. Then we'll see people that get really good at double unders forget how to do single unders, right? They're 2 different skills. They look the same. We like to use singles to check in on your position and posture again. So yeah, keep doing speed steps.
Petra asked, how to teach people not to do the donkey kicks or like the V when they try to turn the jump rope.
Yep, Petra, great question about trying to get people out of donkey kicking, piking, and donkey kicking, how to get them out of that. First thing you have to address is something's causing them to do that. Donkey kicking and piking is simply a flinch reflex to miss the rope, right? The rope keeps hitting them and they're just trying to move their body out of the way. Well, you got to figure out, well, why is the rope hitting them? Is the rope too long, right? Are their hands in the wrong place? So you got to watch their jumping to make sure that the contact point is in the right spot, about a shoe length or 10 inches in front of the toes. If that is consistent, then the way you get them out of it is you got to tell them to fail, right? Say, okay, I want you to do, attempt 5 double unders, and I want you, if they're piking, I tell them to squeeze their butt. You squeeze their glutes, that kind of helps tighten up everything, right? And get their body elongated. But tell them, I don't care if you fail, do the straightest pencil bodies you can, whether you fail or not, bound 5 times in a row. Even if you trip on the first double under, give me 4 more bounds as straight as you can, right? And they have to force themselves into that. That's the other thing I'll do is like I did earlier, take the rope out of the athlete's hands, hold my hand over their head, and they always do it perfectly there without a jump rope. They'll do the 5 double under bounds perfectly, straight body, toes pointed down in the air, by the way, right? And then you put a rope in their hands, and all of a sudden they want to miss the rope again, right? So you have to tell them it's okay to fail. You got to just force yourself to really fix that position, right? Be upright.
We had a couple questions addressing the length of the rope. One says choosing length of rope in relation to height, and the other one just says how to measure the length of the rope correctly.
Yeah, okay, so we covered at the very, very beginning. Let's try again. Step 1 foot into the rope, feet together, stand up tall, real tall through your spine. The bottom of the rope, we only care about the cord, should not be higher than the bottom of your sternum, okay? We know that that's about 3/4 of your body height, and that actually is technically probably too long. That gives you a pretty good buffer. If Shenley's jumping with that rope, she's gonna have probably a little more than a foot of the rope clearing over her head. And as her positioning gets tighter, we need that to shorten up. Otherwise, it'll be too messy where it hits in front of her on the ground. So no longer than underfoot back up to your sternum. Don't use the handles. Leave the handles out of the equation because every jump rope has a different length handle. So I don't like pulling the handle ends up to your armpits or things like that. Only the cord to the bottom of your sternum.
I think part of the question is that if people order online, it goes by height sometimes.
Yeah.
So do you not like that? Can you address that?
Absolutely. No, great question. Thanks, Nick. So the point was, if you go to our website and look at our sizing chart there, understand that we have that set at a little bit longer than if I could coach you in person, I'm going to bring you shorter than what our chart says. But since I can't coach you in person, then we have to give you a little bit of tolerance. So typically your height plus 3 feet is very close to that round trip measurement. You take your height and add 3 feet. That usually puts you on the longer side though. The better thing to do is take a tape measure, right? You know, like from Home Depot, hold the beginning of the tape measure at the bottom of your sternum, run it under your foot, pull it back up and come back to your sternum and stand up tall. See what the tape measure says. And that would be, and then just order to the closest even inch, because ours we sell based on every 2 inches, okay? Or we have a Rapid Fit product. Actually, you can buy those directly through Invictus. We have a Rapid Fit product that you can adjust. It adjusts 1 inch at a time, and it gives you 8 inches of adjustment. So go to the Invictus website, look for the Invictus Rapid Fit. It's a fantastic rope. It has the cord that we like, which is the little over 3 ounce cord. And that's a great rope for you to move through your progressions with and get your skills down. Then you can go back to the Invictus site when you're a stud and you can order the Invictus Evo, which is primo.
Awesome.
Okay.
Next one. Says he can do, Diego says he can do 50 unbroken, no problem, double unders. And he says he jumps quite high and I feel he's pretty slow. What can he do to practice to speed that up?
Yeah, great question. So that's something that was a coach talking about an athlete, I think. So a coach is saying, hey, I have this athlete that can do 50 unbroken double unders, no problem, but he has a high bound and I feel like he's slow and he's suffering from it. Yeah, so you need to train him. You need to put him on a timer and you need to make him go fast, right? So you could do almost a Tabata type workout and say, okay, we're gonna go 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. So 20 seconds, get as many double unders as you can in 20 seconds. And he's gonna have to bring his bound lower to the ground, give the rope less time and speed that rope up, right? And train him going fast. He's gonna trip a lot more often. When somebody that has a slow methodical bound and getting them to speed up, things are happening faster. Your tolerance for error has gone out the door. You have, it's more critical that you're very precise. So you just, put them on a schedule where they train fast double unders. Like that is their goal during that training session, right? And say, you're only working for speed. Whatever rope you want, you use light ropes, use heavy ropes. You should mix it up actually and say, okay, go for speed and try and have him beat those markers. And that'll improve his capacity, but knowing that he has his pace, he's going to have a comfortable pace that he feels most consistent at, right? So good question.
Hannah asks, do you have specific warm-ups prior to doing a large chunk of double unders in order to avoid or prevent shin ligament strains and stress?
Yeah, great question. The question was if there's a good warm-up you can do before a lot of double unders to prevent any kind of lower leg injuries, shin splints, stretch fractures, things like that. Yeah, definitely. That's everybody's so different with their physicality and what condition they're in, So I always recommend, mostly double unders are calves, right? For the most part, it's calves, it's the foot, obviously. So starting off with warming up with single unders. I like, somebody asked earlier about alternating step. Trying to do some jogging in place single unders. So I really like doing alternating step, right? This is low impact. Yep, she's really getting her feet warmed up with some nice light impact on the ground, getting her calves warmed up, okay? So I like doing that. The other thing I like doing is going stop and then turn profile. And then the other thing we do without a rope is just do some little heel taps. So do like 10 heel taps, no rope, just heel taps. She's just lifting her heels up. These are low heel taps. And then she's gonna go into single underbounds, So now she's just practicing getting off the ground. This is a great way to kind of pump some blood into your calves, get them warmed up. Then go stretch your calves and Achilles, right? So then go up to a wall, put your toe up against the wall, lean in with a straight knee, and then do it with a bent knee. That's going to work the stretch, deeper into the Achilles and up to the soleus, the calf. Do ankle rotation, so kind of toe down, ankle rotations, move it around. And then the big thing is listening to your body, right? Your capacity may be different than Shenley, so I don't know how much volume you can handle. Listen to your body. That's why we're not big proponents for training double unders every single day, right? That's just too much of any one thing. Is not always a good thing, right? So listen to your body, and hopefully that'll help you out.
Next one. I've always done double unders with a speed rope,
Yep.
a wire one. Does he recommend going to a heavy rope instead and using that to further improve double under and eventually triple unders?
Who was that?
Magdalena.
Magdalena, great question. Yes, Magdalena's question is, I learned double unders with a speed rope. I've always used a speed rope. And should I go to something heavier? Yes, 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 absolutely. In fact, my argument is your everyday training rope should be heavier anyway, okay? Your everyday training rope should be at least a 3-ounce cable, a little bit more resistance. And what's gonna happen is you're gonna learn how to move that 3-ounce cable more efficiently. You'll use better technique, improve your efficiency, so that when you get the opportunity to go to your speed rope's gonna feel like a feather, right? Like when you train this way, think about that. When you train with a heavier kettlebell all the time, and then all of a sudden the coach comes out and goes, hey, you only got to use a 35-pound kettlebell or something lighter. You're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome, right? You can just go forever. So your everyday training rope should be more in the middle ground, right? And just every day, that should be your go-to. Then when you get to go to your speed rope for a competition or to practice speed or whatever your goal is, it's going to feel super easy. And if you get the opportunity to train with something heavier, it doesn't feel like that big of a jump to go to something heavier. So absolutely get something with a little bit more weight to it and use it regularly.
A few more questions. Anna asks, should the positioning change if you have long arms?
That was from Anna?
Yep.
Anna asked, should the positioning change if you have long arms? No, it should not change. The center of your body is the center of your body. We're just looking at it like geometry, right? Your body is so tall and you're only going to have so much space for the rope to get under your feet, right? That space is limited. And the ideal amount of space is for us about a shoe length or 10 inches. When you leave the ground, we like the rope to graze the ground, make contact about 10 inches in front of you, because that gives you enough time to get out of the way. And it's not too far out that it's going to have too much friction dragging on the ground, right? So you have limited space in front of you. You have unlimited space above you, okay, right? The rope can clear your head by a lot. However, the middle of your body is the middle of your body. We're just trying to create a wheel and get everything to rotate around the axis of that wheel, which is the center of your body. So if you have longer arms, that just means that your elbow might poke out behind you a little bit more. Or what you might do is you might rotate your forearm out to the side a little bit more, right? There's a little bit of a tug and pull or push and pull between, elbow pointing back or forearm rotating out. You just don't want to get too far in any one direction, right? You want to just find a comfortable place where you feel like your arms are hanging out at the middle of your body. So if you have, 2 to 3 to 4 inches away from your body, that's usually fine, okay? But no, the position shouldn't change. It should still be the middle of your body.
Sasha, she asked, how should my feet land? Flat foot or more on my toes?
Sasha wants to know, should I land flat-footed or on my toes? Great question. I didn't cover that earlier. On your single unders, you're not having to elevate off the ground for single unders, so your heels can be low to the ground. They can almost kiss the ground, right? So on single unders, so Shen, let's go profile view, no rope, single unders, and let's see. I think they can see you right there. So just do single under bounds, and just see. She's not worried about keeping her heels too far off the ground. I mean, they could even lightly kiss the ground on her single unders. You don't need to bend your knees as much though. Knees barely need to bend on single unders, by the way. You're not getting off the ground very high. You don't need that big of a push off. You want to get off the ground quicker, so less knee bend is better for single unders. But for a double under, heels come up and stay up. Yes, you don't want your heels to get near the ground. So let me show, now go double under bounds. Keep the heels up, 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 yeah. Because that's keeping your spring engaged and coiled, ready for the rebound. Keeping your heel up, right? You're shortening your calves and Achilles, and you're leaving that spring loaded for that rebound. So single unders, heels can be down, double unders, heels have to stay up.
A couple more.
These are great questions, by the way, guys.
Great questions. What is the best way to control where the rope hits in front of you to make it consistent?
Okay, the question was from?
That's from Chris there.
Chris wants to know, best way to control where the rope hits in front of you. It's an awesome question. We do drills where you just pay attention to that. We like your head to normally be neutral when you're jumping. Eyes can be forward or down, right? To remember, use peripheral to find your hands. You can sometimes bend your head down a little bit and look and see where your rope is hitting, just so that you get some awareness, right? Here's a great drill. Go and grab your rope. Here's a drill for you to practice. It's called the in-out drill, right? You do 5 single unders where you're trying to pull your hands in close to your body, right into 5 single unders, pushing your hands far away. And then you just keep repeating that, in, out, 5 single unders, hands come in close. So I'm gonna have Shenley, face the camera. I'm gonna have Shenley demonstrate, and that's gonna change where the rope hits the ground. She's gotta move her hands to make sure the rope doesn't trip up on her toes. So 5 singles. So now we're going in. Now go out, right? So that pull the rope in. She's going wide. She's got to learn how to push her hands down when she goes wide so that the rope won't hit her toes. So try again. We're in. Now we're going wide. Push your hands down and out. Make it touch the ground. Good. Come back in. How in can you get? Really in. Look how tight she is. Really in, right? So when she got really in tight, the rope got long, was hitting way out in front of her. Okay? You'll feel the difference, the feedback in your fingertips. When you turn the rope, you'll feel the different impact of the rope. Those are great drills and videotaping yourself to find that mark. But I also listen for it. I listen for the lightest tick, tick. Okay, great question.
That was an awesome answer too. Thank you. I've never heard that. So
yeah,
that's great.
Thanks.
Diego asked, which drill can we use to work on elbow position?
So elbow position. Diego's asking a drill to work on elbow position. So it sounds like Diego probably has an issue of not getting his elbows back. He's probably jumping with stiff arms and using more shoulders. That's a real tough one, Diego, if that's what your issue is. I'm not sure exactly, but some coaches will take a band and wrap a band around your elbows and make you jump with your elbows in. Again, I don't like elbows in against your torso, because that means your forearms have to either be out in front of you, which moves where the rope contacts the ground, or you're going to rotate your forearm out to the side in order to bring the rope in to the right spot in front of your toes. So I don't like your elbows to be trapped in. If you could do something that traps your elbows behind you, maybe have somebody wrap a band behind your back and connect your elbows. We have a product on our site called jump cuffs, and you Velcro them around your wrist. It's connected in the middle with a bungee, and the goal of that is that it doesn't let your hands go wide. It keeps your hands closer to your torso, so you have to keep your elbows bent, okay? And so that's another good tool, but you got to videotape yourself, and you have to let yourself feel uncomfortable. If you're changing your body's position from what you've been doing for however long, it's going to feel completely foreign to do something different, even though it's the right way. But you have to know that you're on the right path, right? You're doing it to improve. So great question.
Last question. It's an interesting one. They can't really tell if they're doing the double unders. They feel themselves and still can't always tell. How do you tell if you're actually doing them correctly?
So the question was, I can't tell if I'm doing a double under sometimes, or how do I know if I'm doing them correctly? Well, you don't know if you're doing it correctly if you don't even know if you're doing them. You got to know that you're doing them first. So my answer to that is get a heavier cord, a heavier rope, because you'll feel it, right? You'll add the sensation and the feel. Listen for the sound on the ground, right? And try and slow things down. If you bound up in the air and you hear the 2 tick, tick, ticks on the ground, that's a double under, right? So you got to listen for that sound. Heavier cable is going to give you the feedback in your hand, you'll actually feel the tick, tick, right, when it hits the ground. And you just got to slow things down. If you can't tell, you're going too fast. I can tell you that for sure. Quick question.
I think that's it, David.
Okay. So I have something I want you guys to do later. This is what I'm going to leave you with. We're going to put up a list of these workout drills that we've developed. And these workouts are really geared towards skill acquisition, not fitness acquisition, okay? When you're training your double unders, we don't want you to try and go full tilt, high intensity, because then all technique goes out the door. You got to really have a controlled environment to work on the skill. So we develop these workouts so that you can try and improve what you're doing. So I'm going to move the camera over so you guys can see. So we're going to provide these to the Invictus family. Hopefully you guys can see. There's two of them that I want you guys to see. Back up. There you go. Okay, so the first one is, we call it reverse countdown. So here's my list. So we'll get this list out to you guys. We'll provide this in a PDF that you guys, or a link or something, you guys can get access to it. This is a great one, reverse countdown. You start off, it's just a total of 10 reps, right, every time. So you start off with 9 single unders, finish with 1 double under. Then, and you can stop, like just make that 10 reps, stop, reset. Then you can do 8 single unders, 2 double unders, stop. 7 single unders, 3 double unders, all the way down till you get to 1 single under, 9 double unders, okay? And so that's a good marker to see if you're getting better. We like you to go back to single unders so that you're checking in your positioning, right? You're resetting and getting your positioning on point. So if you can do that, stop, then do 8 and 2, stop, 7, 3, stop. Then if you get through that, now try and do it without stopping, okay? That's the next phase of that. You go from 9 to 1 double under, right into 8 single unders, 2 double unders, right into 7 double unders, 7 single unders, 3 double unders, all the way down to 1 and 9. So those are 2 great drills for you guys to practice. Keeps it short, lets you focus on what you're trying to correct. The other thing now is the 5-5-10 challenge, and that's 10 rounds unbroken, 5 single unders, 5 double unders. That's it. Without stopping, 5 single unders, 5 double unders, 5 single unders, 5 double unders, 5 single unders, 5 double unders, okay? So those are 2 things. Hopefully you guys can get a screenshot of that or write it down. It's pretty simple. Again, we'll get you guys a link or get you a PDF we have more of these things we guys want you guys to practice, okay? So the goal of those things is, oops, lock this in. The goal of those drills is so that you guys are practicing these techniques, right? When you're trying to go from single unders to double unders, if you really focus on low singles, high doubles, keep your rope speed consistent, that's the trick to going back and forth between singles to doubles, okay? And when you do that, you're really gonna gain a ton of control, okay? And videotape yourselves to see, do you look the same, okay, between singles and doubles? Does your body look the same? I'm gonna challenge Shenley real quick. I'm gonna challenge her to do 10 single unders and into 10 double unders, kind of her max. She hasn't really done more than that. But I'm gonna challenge her to do 10 single unders and 10 double unders. And I'm looking that her body position looks exactly the same, just her height off the ground is what is the big difference, okay? Let's see what you got. Make those doubles up here, okay? Good. Oh, rope was too fast. That's a great thing to fix. The rope was too fast because she launched up. Yeah, do 5 single unders and then go on your doubles. You got it. Yeah, that rope was just cooking. Don't speed up the rope. Just get up there. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, one more time. Make those doubles high though. That was good rope speed. Make the doubles high. And up, 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 back to singles. Yeah, that's okay. That was good though. That's good for her. She literally just learned double unders like, 2 weeks ago. Okay, so for her, that's fantastic. What all I care about is that her integrity of positioning is staying intact. She's not going from singles to crazy doubles. You know what I mean? She's just focusing on changing her bound height, make the rope match up. How are we doing, Nick?
We're good. Couple more questions.
Couple more
questions. We'll call it. Lots of compliments and thank you. Any way of how to time your breathing during the double unders?
Yeah, great question. So breathing on double unders. You know what? I always laugh at that question because I'm like, well, you just breathe. You know, if you hold your breath, you're going to die, right? So something you could try and do is create a pattern of, you know, inhaling on 2 reps, exhaling on 2 reps, inhaling on 2 reps. I do that when I'm running, right? I'll run and I'll run so many steps, inhaling, exhale so many steps, right? And keep that pattern the same. So figure out, again, I don't know what your breathing tempo is. If you're a shallow breather or a heavy breather, you could be a stomach breather or lung breather, whatever. But yeah, try that. Try and go, you know, 2 reps on an inhale, 2 reps on an exhale, or modify that to what feels comfortable for you. And at least that gives you something tangible to focus on and see if that helps out.
I think we're good.
Awesome. Hey, thank you. Invictus Nation, we love you guys. Hope you're staying safe and healthy out there. Sorry we had to tease you by coming to the mothership, this big, beautiful, empty Invictus gym. Can't wait to see all of your happy, sweaty, chalky faces back in the gym, grinding it out, getting some great coaching from this world-class staff. Thanks for inviting us into your family. We appreciate it, guys.
One more question. Are there any plans on doing a follow-up?
Yes, I would love to do a follow-up. So I'm going to talk to the Invictus team, and hopefully they'll have us back out. And we have a lot more things that we can try and progress the conversation. And I really want to hear how you guys are doing, you know, how you guys are doing with these drills and things like that. So you can also follow us at RX Smart Gear. We're going to be doing a live tomorrow. Today's Wednesday, right? Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. California time. We're going to do a live on the RX Smart Gear where people are, you know, kind of jumping in and asking more questions, letting us know how their drills are going, you know. So we'd love to have you guys visit us there too.
Awesome. All right, great job.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Shenley. Great job.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Good luck
Bye,
out there.
guys. Go ahead and cancel that. Let's go.